Meeting to order. Item, the municipality of Oakland-Wawanesa would like to acknowledge and recognize that we are operating on Treaty 1 and Treaty 2 lands, being the original territory of the Anishinaabe and Dakota nations and the homeland of the Métis Nation. Be it resolved that the agenda for the November 19, 2024 meeting be accepted as presented. Councilor McGregor, second Councilor McDonald. All in favor? Be resolved that the minutes of the October 15, 2024 regular meeting of council be hereby approved as circulated. Moved by Councilor McDonald, second by Councilor Hatch. Any errors or omissions? All in favor? Be it resolved that the minutes of the October 15, 2024 special meeting of council be hereby approved as circulated. By Councilor McGregor, seconded. McDonald. Any errors or omissions? All in favor? Be it resolved that the minutes of the November 5th, 2024 special meeting of council be hereby approved as circulated. Moved by second Councilor Hatch. Any errors or omissions? All in favor? Finance, be it resolved that the general accounts payable check number 7583 to Big Valley Wash in the amount of $200 be hereby approved. Councilor McGregor, second Councilor McDonald. Discussion? All in favor? Be it resolved that the November 12, 2024 general accounts payable being checks number 7584 to 7649 in the amount of $220,113.52 be hereby approved. Councilor McDonald, second Councilor Hatch. Discussion? All in favor? Be it resolved that direct deposit 333 being staff payable for the period October 14th to October 25th, 2024, the amount of $15,491.57 be hereby approved. By Councilor Hatch, seconder. Councilor McDonald, discussion. All in favor? Be it resolved that direct deposit 334 being staff payable for the period October 28th to November 8th, 2024, in the amount of $15,748.33 be hereby approved. Regular, seconded. Donald, discussion. All in favor? Okay. Be resolved to direct deposit 335 being council indemnities for the month of October 2024 in the amount of $5,577.84 be hereby approved. Moved by Councilor Hatch, seconder. Councilor McGregor, discussion. Favor? Under the utility account, be resolved that the November 12, 2024 utility accounts payable being checks number 1195 to 1201 in the amount of $6,372.04 be hereby approved. By Councilor McDonald, second Councilor McGregor. Discussion. Favor? Be resolved that the statement of revenue expenditures report to October 31st, 2024 be received as presented. By Councilor Hatch, seconder. Councilor McGregor. Discussion. Favor? Be resolved that the bank reconciliation for the month of October 2024 be approved as previously circulated. Moved by Councilor McDonald, seconder. McGregor. Discussion. All in favor? Okay, delegations.
You can go ahead. If you would like to come forward, please.
Thank you.
Good morning.
So my name is Donna McIntosh, and I live in the North Ward. And I am here today because of concerns I have about the North Ward Council. And everything I have to say about this issue is my opinion and my belief, as well as many people around me. Okay. So I just wanted to say that I do understand that, we are one. I do understand that. I also feel that when people have a question about, a question or a concern, you know, chances are that they are going to, I mean, if you live in the town of Wawanesa Village, you're going to ask a counselor from that, and vice versa. If you live in the rural, chances are you're going to phone somebody you voted for or a rural counselor. Now, I do understand there could be exceptions to that because we are one. I get that, but chances are that it's just, to me, common sense. That's the way people are going to go, and I'm sure a lot of counselors would agree to that. But I feel that Dennis Rome has been targeted and bullied from day one of being on this council, and the code of conduct situation, you know, certainly seems to be some proof of that. We all know that there could have and should have been code of conduct violations against other members of this council for some very concerning comments. But, you know, that never happened. It's been ignored, or maybe just a simple apology is made, and that's it. You know, that's the end. Now, I don't have an issue with that. In fact, I mean, if people have a difference of opinion or whatever, see something differently, it should be, you know, obviously talked about. And if there's a disagreement, well, that's just life. I mean, at any sort of job or anything. If there are personal dislikes or a difference of opinion, then I think this council should agree to disagree instead of using all these tax dollars. I just feel there's a better way. It's a lot of money for it, and it my opinion, it's maybe being used unfairly. I hope that everybody would just think for themselves, because I mean, Dennis, he's an elected official in this municipality. Whether anybody on council, you know, like him, don't like him, the election process proves he was and is wanted on this council. It just seems obvious that I don't understand where any maybe sort of respect lies for what some ratepayers in this municipality want and voted for. I also feel like it seems as though the code of conduct and the sanctions for Mr. Rome are being, you know, really used as a weapon against him. And it's obvious that the sanctions are made by individuals that simply want setting him up to fail. He was elected just like everybody else and here. And
Can I ask you a question? Do you know what the sanctions are?
I do have an idea of some.
So can you tell me what they are?
Well, what I have an issue with is, you know, it's how is a person supposed to know if it was just a simple apology that's wanted? I don't think that's the case here.
You don't know that. Do you, I guess that's a question I have, that it's misunderstood as to what the whole process is outside of the council, basically. So council is governed by the municipal act. Municipal act has down the code of conduct. If it occurs, then we have means of dealing with it. No, there's informal. We've done informal before within this council, and people have apologized. That was offered to Mr. He didn't accept that. Didn't want it.
And over.
Pardon me?
Offered over and over and over.
So he had that opportunity at that time, we would have been gone. All he had to deal with it was informally. didn't want to do that. He wanted to go through the formal process. The formal process was to the province, outside of council. Council has no bearing on that, no decision made on it. It goes to the province. The province sets out the criteria. It goes to third parties, to third-party investigator. And we have to abide by it.
Who sets out the criteria for the sanctions?
The investigator.
For the sanctions?
Yes, they recommend sanctions.
Could I just interrupt? The sanctions are laid out in regulation and they're kind of in order from kind of first, second, third steps. So the first couple of steps are censure and reprimand, which have already occurred. And so as the investigators took a look at it, their next steps were apology and education. And that's what
Okay,
The sanctions for code of conduct, complaint number 1, were the ones that were recommended by the independent investigator. And all of that is recommended in the information that's publicly available.
okay. I guess really essentially what people myself and a lot of people, I can tell you a lot of people in the ward I live in. Why did it even get to this? I mean, it seems, as I said earlier, a target. Why?
I guess I'll ask another question. Do you think that the code of conduct, that he didn't violate the code of conduct?
I'm saying what I said earlier, that we all know there have been violations made by other individuals.
And they've been dealt informally. And that was the process. They could do it informally and it was dealt with. And Councilor Holmes offered the same thing and turned it down.
A simple apology.
Yes. Could have been a simple apology. That's all we could have done it through council. Didn't want that to be done.
Ms. McIntosh, have you read the code of conduct?
Yes, I have.
All of the documents?
I've read a lot of it, yeah.
Okay, so you need to read all of it because you'll see in there where I say over and over and over to Mr. Rome, all you need to do is apologize.
And it would be 100% accepted? Is that in writing somewhere?
That's the informal
That's
process.
how
We've done it
the
before.
process goes, and we've dealt with it numerous times. around
So
this
why-
table.
But why has,
Okay, I just want to finish. Mr. Rome continues to put it publicly that we are not dealing with code of conduct violations when he knows that we have. He's been told that we have. He's been part of dealing with some of the ones that he likes to quote. So you're being misled, and it's
I would
so
disagree.
unfortunate.
I would disagree. You know, the bottom line is, if it is 3 code of conducts, boom, 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 that didn't happen to anybody else. It just doesn't seem right. He's an elected official. That works well for some people, but not for others. And, you know, I feel, you know, I'm pretty sure you guys take an oath that, you know, when you are on council, that it's to be about the municipality. Okay? So,
Misinformation is not healthy for the municipality. Misinformation, disinformation, outright untruths.
okay,
For 10 years.
okay, I disagree very strongly with that, and so do other people.
I would love to sit down with you and walk you through a whole bunch of claims that are either completely false or missing super important context. He is really, really good at it. It is unbelievable how good he is at presenting information with either a slight twist or just missing like one important detail to try to make the people at this table or our staff look bad.
It's hard to sit back and what's the role?
Councilor Rome, you can't speak.
No, it's hard to sit back and roll this. Because I'm gonna have all kinds of this
I'm going to ask you to leave the meeting.
misrepresentation going on by people at the table as well.
Mr. Rome, one more outbreak and you're going to be asked to leave.
Okay, so, just being out in the community, it's upsetting to a lot of people what's happening here, okay? A lot of people feel, I mean, why is this council going against the democratic process? I believe that is what's happening.
But that, we're following the municipal act.
Okay, and is it being twisted and used to,
No.
oh, I would disagree with that.
Okay, so initially, when it was turned down for informal, that is sent off to the province to review, to make sure it's not vexatious and not malicious. In which is what you're saying we're doing, we're being malicious, that goes to the government. That person has to deal with it and say it is or is not. Came back, no, it's not malicious. It is, it's true to the context of a code of conduct violation. So it has to go on to an investigator, and a third-party investigator. Went to the first third-party investigator, went to a second third-party investigator. The investigators were agreed to by the two parties.
Well, I also, I do believe that maybe there were other things that have been said by other counselors, that there was no apology.
Can you give us an
And it
example?
wasn't I would choose not to do that. No. Okay, I'm not going to discuss certain things. Okay. So I'd like to see Dennis Rome reinstated on this council.
He can be reinstated. All they do is complete his sanctions. He can be back at the table, within a month. As soon as he finishes his course. Yeah. He can be there if he wants to, but he doesn't want to.
Okay, is it in writing that it's a simple apology?
No. What it is there's 3 apology letters required now. 3 different ones that have to be approved, but as far as council goes, has presented to the council, so it covers the right criteria. And then he has to complete the education. He has to set that down and give it to council as to what he's doing and what his schedule is, and et cetera, and let us know when he's going to be finished them. And then at that point, he can come back to the table. He's getting paid on a monthly basis now. His monthly indemnity of $843.07 is being paid to him, and he's not doing any duties. He's not even trying to do his sanctions.
Well, I'm it would be my opinion that there's reason for that.
So I just want to make sure that you understand the process here. So step 1 is so that's where he had the opportunity to make an apology.
At no cost.
And that would have cost the municipality $0. After that, when he chooses not to do that, it goes to the intake, who is the one that evaluates whether it is, someone just trying to be a jerk, basically. And that intake reviewer has said no on all 3 counts. This is not vexatious. This is not someone trying to write an axe here. This needs to proceed. Okay. Then there's a conciliation option, which you can do or not do. And I chose not to do that because I was not confident that it would, and we would have to proceed to step 3, which is investigation. If we did both of those steps, the municipality has to pay for both of them, and it would raise the cost of the entire claim. So I tried to minimize the cost here, and we went straight to investigation so that we didn't pay for another costly step that I was fairly certain wasn't going to work based on history.
So has anybody else ever made a comment that, in your opinion, you would disagree with? And are they,
Absolutely.
okay, so why is this an issue? You know what? As a council, if you have to discuss things and if it gets a bit heated, then maybe you just go back to it later. But it's been one thing after another. And I, at least in my experience living in this municipality, which has been 5 years, I think, just over, this hasn't happened before.
Absolutely, it has. But
Not-
it has
it
never
should-
proceeded to the investigation because it was dealt with at the informal stage. And that's what I'm trying to make you see, is that absolutely people have said things around this table that have been inappropriate and they were dealt with informally. And that person either apologized publicly in some of the examples that he likes to put out, or they had to apologize to a council member internally. Okay, so this absolutely has happened multiple times. Just in this council term. This is my second council term. This is happening. We are dealing with it, but we have to deal with it through the process. Mr. Rome chose not to participate in the informal,
Well,
which created the cost.
it just seems that, people of the municipality voted.
Hmm.
Okay, does that stand for anything?
Yeah, it absolutely does. And as
Well,
I said, he could be at the table again. It's up to
Well,
him.
you know
It's
what,
up to him.
sometimes when people feel that they are right, honestly, I just think there's probably a little more to things than just an apology and dealing with it informally. It just seems very obvious. That's what a lot of people are saying.
I'm concerned you're only getting one side of the story. And that's the unfortunate part of the last 10 years, is that there has been, a very vocal, very consistent outpouring of posts on Facebook that are just simply not true. And you're not getting the full story here. He's told you that we haven't dealt with these other incidents informally. He knows that we have. We've told him over and over, and he participated in some.
Well,
But he continues to say that. We can agree to disagree at this table. That happens all of the time. That is super helpful, and that is a part of being around this table. We can agree to disagree. We can't agree to disagree when it comes to sharing false information. That is a line that I cannot be okay with. And I'm guessing that you probably can't either. Code of conduct complaint number 1 was about telling people something that wasn't true and then refusing to correct it after. And to make it worse, last week he posted an agenda to try to prove that he was right and say that a motion had been passed to put an office in Nesbitt. I'm not sure if you saw that.
I did.
Yeah. So do you know what that actually was?
There was,
He said it was minutes from a meeting. Do you know what it actually was?
it was on the agenda.
It was an agenda.
Yeah.
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 So does that mean that a motion was passed?
It was in writing that there was to be a resolution. I understood that. But,
Did you think that it proved that I was wrong?
I think it proved that there's numerous people out there that thought that had the same belief. Yes.
And that's,
So I
And
can interject there. That was on the agenda. It was an agenda item added on by Mr. Rome, who didn't come to that meeting to move it. No mover, no seconder. He wasn't at that meeting. He wanted it on the agenda, but he didn't come to the meeting. So could not get onto didn't get it beyond that.
I knew it wasn't in. I totally understand that, but there was certainly lots of talk about it. It definitely was on the table for discussion. It wasn't a dead issue or anything like that. Okay, that wasn't the case.
yeah, but it wasn't what he was saying. What he was saying was that a motion was passed to build an office in Nesbitt. That's been the whole issue with code of conduct complaint number 1, is him saying that when it wasn't true. And it's absolutely okay for regular residents to not understand the process. That's completely okay. As a counselor who's been around this table for a number of years, he is needing to be held to a higher standard. He cannot allow people to think something is true when it's not. And that happens regularly as well. Someone misinterprets something and he doesn't correct it. That post has been deleted without correcting that it was wrong last week.
I really do feel that sometimes when people feel strongly about something, they dig their heels in. Okay. And I believe Mr. Rome that's what he's doing. He does care about this community. There's a lot of people that want him on this council. Okay. This is what it boils down to, and that's my belief. That is my belief. The process was followed. he was elected. I'd like to see him back at this table. And I think that it's important for everybody to think for themselves. I don't think being elected is anything that should be taken lightly.
Yeah, I get, we're gonna, we'll read the issue or whatever the case may be.
Well-
So I think we'll leave it at that, unless you have some additional to add. But basically what we're left with is that the suspension is as a result of the municipal act. The municipal act states that if he doesn't proceed with his requirements, that he is suspended. That's under the municipal act. That's not council saying that. That's the municipal act. That's province of Manitoba. Suggested if you got a real concern, you can either go to the ombudsman or you can go to the administrator. You can contact them and they can voice your concern there. Where council's concerned, we've done our due diligence on it, and I guess at this point, let's wait for Mr. Rome to make the next move.
Okay.
If
Well,
I could just clarify, code of conduct in no way eliminates what has happened through an election. There's nothing in the process that removes a councillor permanently from council. It has to be done.
yes.
So in this instance, it's a case of sanctions. It's not even a suspension, it's sanctions. In some ways, it's no different than if I violate the traffic act and the court withholds my license until I take defensive driving. If I choose not to take defensive driving, I choose not to get my license back. This is very similar. There are sanctions out there. They have been given, they have been appealed and upheld. And so now it is Dennis's responsibility to choose to do the sanctions or choose to continue not being able to fulfill his duties. That choice is his, and the process allows for that. He can continue to choose not to do the sanctions from now until October of 2026, that next election. And that is his choice.
So,
He will be paid his indemnity until that point.
is it not also a choice of this council to have him back on council?
Again, we're dealing with the act. The municipal act is very specific. And what it's dealing with the code of conduct. Code of conduct was put in there not that many years ago because of these very problems that were existing, and we couldn't get any solutions to it. This is their solution. They put it into the municipal act. Put all the criteria in there so everybody can follow it. Everybody has the same playing game, and they have to deal with it. Every municipality is in the same boat as us.
Well, and they are in this, a lot of municipalities are in the same boat in Dennis Rome's situation as well. So it only proves to myself and maybe some other people that, I know it's always the municipal act. And some of that I think is maybe being
Again,
abused.
if you think that's the case, ombudsman is one person. The minister for municipal relations is there as well. You
Okay.
should contact them and voice your concern.
Okay, I just want to thank everybody then. I did want to get up and say what I wanted to say. And thank you.
Ms. McIntosh, I just want to thank you. Even though I disagree with most of what you said, it's not easy to come and sit at this table. And
No, it's not.
it's not easy to get this side of the table either, to be completely honest, but it's super important that we have these conversations. That's what's been missing, is we can't have people getting their information from social media only. We need to have conversations. And I'm very willing to sit down with anyone for a conversation. And absolutely, we're going to agree to disagree on some items, but we're also going to talk through some items as well.
And I do understand that. I appreciate that. But again, would that not be one-sided as well? I'm just saying, people, people are going to think what they want to think, and people feel, I believe, at least in the North, a lot of people in the North, that they've been treated unfairly too with somebody that they want representing them.
I just think you're having the conversation with the wrong, you're facing the wrong direction, having this conversation. The conversation needs to be with Mr. Rowe. Council is not stopping him from being at this table. Council has followed a legislative process to deal with complaints in exactly the same way that we've dealt with numerous.
But we all know there's trouble in other municipalities in this regard too. And it's sometimes I do think it just boils down to a different, somebody might disagree with some things and there's nothing wrong with that. Not everybody can get what they want.
Let's conclude it here. Basically, what happened, what you're dealing with is that it went through a person at the province, 2 investigators, and an appeals person. So there's 4 individuals there that have ruled on this outside of council, not only council. So when you say that we're not dealing with it fairly, you're talking those other 4 people and we're professional people. You're saying they're not dealing with it fairly, and that's unfair. We're going to agree to disagree in this situation. So, again, thank you for coming. And
Okay, thank you.
I guess just to conclude that, I don't know if everybody's aware of it, but to date, this has cost the municipalities, the ratepayers, of $25,931.75. Okay.
If you could receive the presentation.
It resolved that the delegation from Don McIntosh be received. Moved by Councilor Gregor, second Councilor McDonald. All in favor? Okay, go to communications.
Okay, under the order of communications, there are several from the Association of Manitoba Municipalities. There are 4 dated October the 11th, October the 15th, 2 from October the 24th, October the 25th, October the 28th, November the 1st, November the 4th, November the 5th, November the 6th, and November the 8th. There was information provided by the Canadian Beverage Container Recycling Association on a survey and webinar. Earth Day Canada provided some information on charging stations. Eco West provided information on funding. Federation of Canadian Municipalities had communiques dated October the 15th, October the 21st, October the 23rd, October the 29th, October the 31st, November the 4th, and November the 12th. Hudson Bay Route Association provided information on their annual general meeting. Brad Jackson, MLA for the district, is providing information on the Christmas open house. The Keystone Planning District provided information on a development plan bylaw. Manitoba Watersheds Conference being held December the 2nd to the 4th. Manitoba Municipal and Northern Relations provided information on ministers' meetings at the AMM. The Minister of Environment and Climate Change provided information on the recycling rebate. Municipal and Northern Relations provided bulletin number 19 on the intake reviewer for code of conduct for change of address. Bulletin number 22 on the GROW funding program, and bulletin number 23 on provincial assessment service levies. Municipal World has their their newsletter for November. Ontario First Nations Technical Service Corp is doing a survey on municipal waste regulations. Scott Phillips provided information on the AMM election. The Prime Minister's Awards for Teaching Excellence and Innovation is currently open. RCMP, Royal Canadian Legion provided a thank you for sponsorship in their military service book. RCMP provided information for meeting with them at the AMM. Manitoba Economic Development Corporation provided 2 documents, one on the Canadian Housing Infrastructure Fund and one on the Manitoba Hydro presentation. And Tree Canada provided the National Tree Day information.
Be it resolved that the above noted communications be received. Moved by Councilor McDonald, second Councilor Hatch. Discussion. All in favor? So for committee reports, I have Councilor Fisher's written report here. Councilor Jones' written report. Councilor Hatch, you have a written report. Anything to add?
No, we're good.
Mr. McDonald, you have a written report, anything to add to it? Okay. Mr. McGregor, you have a written report, anything to add to it? The report is there. CAO's report, anything to add to it?
Nothing further.
Finance officer's report, anything to add?
Nothing to add.
Work manager, anything to add to your report?
Nothing to add.
And the fire chief's report? Be it resolved that the reports of the, be resolved that written, that verbal and written reports be received, moved by John, seconder. In favor? Public Works, be it resolved that a report public from, of the Public Works and Transportation Services Committee dated November 7th, 2024, be received and all recommendations be considered under the order of general business. Moved by Mr. Hatch, okay. Seconder? Discussion? Favor? Okay, under unfinished business, we have an ongoing drainage issue. Be it resolved that the correspondence dated October 18th, 2024, Manitoba Environment and Climate Change related to drainage issues in the vicinity of East Half 22817 WPM be received. Move that. Gregor, second, Councilor McDonald. Discussion?
Oh, yes, Mr. Chairman, just wondered if we can get a little more information on this.
This is one where we have the problem to deal with some of the situations going on in that area. They have basically advised that it's not their responsibility and they've shuffled it down to us.
Well, what they have said, we had intended to try and have a joint meeting with them. They don't appear interested in that. They did indicate that they would have their staff come out and investigate any license concerns, but they haven't indicated that municipality would be involved with that. So we will wait to see if we hear anything further from their investigator.
All in favor? Be it resolved that the administration be instructed to complete cleaning and mulching of the municipal right-of-way in Black Creek area within the existing budget. Moved by Secretary Councilor McGregor. Discussion on that? Yes.
Mr. Chairman, just mulching, the Black Creek area, that's basically all this work's gonna be in our right of way.
What's the existing budget amount? Do we know what we have?
8,000.
Pardon?
8,000.
8,000. All in favor? Okay, conditional use application. Be it resolved that conditional use application number C4/2024 to allow a place of worship in the agricultural general zone on part of northeast quarter 8819 WPM, Oakland Colony, be approved. Moved by Councilor McDonald, seconded Councilor McGregor. Discussion? Councilor McGregor?
Mr. Chairman, so I'm gonna just join will not necessarily designate the entire building.
It will not.
Okay,
It will designate only that portion that is being used for worship, and then the remainder will be quiet.
All in favor? Okay, be resolved that this regular meeting now adjourns to an in-camera meeting to discuss matters as per subsection 152(3)(b)(3) of the municipal act related to matters in their preliminary stages. All matters discussed in camera are confidential until discussed in an open meeting as per section 83(1)(d) of the municipal act. Please move that. Next, second, Councilor McGregor, in favor? In camera. Be resolved that this in-camera meeting does now resume back to regular meeting. Can you move that, please? No, second, Councilor Fisher, all in favor? Okay, water leak. Be it resolved that the outstanding portion of the sewer charges on the water bill for 24 Government Road be included in the annual write-off process at year end. Can you move that? Councilor Hatch, second, Councilor Fisher. All in favor? Okay, so the rest of them I can just cover,
Yeah.
right? Okay, whereas information has been received from Next Gen Drainage Solutions on behalf of Bill Granger with respect to a proposed tile drainage project located on northeast 16818 WPM. And whereas a request has been made for a cut through road 45 north, whereas no concern has been expressed by the Public Works Manager, therefore be it resolved that the request for tile drainage permission, consent from Next Gen Drainage Solutions on behalf of Bill Granger to supply and install tile drainage on northeast 16818 WPN be approved subject to, number one, the road being returned to its original state following installation, including City of Brandon specifications for road work, while all work to be completed in consultation with the Public Works Manager. And number two, receipt of permit application fee and deposited in accordance with the drainage bylaw number 41-2024. Move that. Gregor, second, Councilor Fisher. Discussion?
Chairman, I thought we were not letting open cuts on any roads anymore. But
That is nothing yet.
Pardon?
That is nothing yet. I had suggested it. This road isn't a busy road. I actually think it's gonna help.
whatever, okay, no, I just,
Is this, Bill's home place, or which is one is
Yeah.
it?
It's right west of his home.
West,
East, sorry, east.
so east and east of the 45 road, or south of the 45.
So it's gonna tie in together.
Well,
We drove by there
it's
yesterday.
yesterday, yeah, and he's gonna be cutting a drive by the road. It's not,
I did tell him that he should be talking to his neighbors. Just letting them know what's happening.
that's next gen's problem.
Okay, anything else? All in favor? Be it resolved that the request of Synergy Land Services Limited on behalf of Enbridge Pipelines Incorporated and Enbridge Southern Life GP Incorporated for an extension to the blanket crossing and approach agreement to December 31st, 2025 under the same terms and conditions of the original agreement be approved. Move that. Mr. Donald, seconded. Batch, discussion? Favor? Be resolved that the July 1st to September 30th, 2024 RCMP repletion report as previously distributed be received. Move that. Mr. Fisher, seconder. Mr. McGregor, discussion? Favor? Be it resolved that administration be directed to prepare the necessary tender documents for gravel hauling for the years 2025 to 2027 to be advertised in January 2025. Move that. One second, Councilor Hatch, discussion on that? All in favor? So wheat spraying, be resolved that wheat spraying be done in-house with expectation of a minimum of 3 weeks of spraying or approximately 60 miles. We do these separately. Somebody wish to move that? Yeah, seconder? Discussion? Right.
Mr. Chairman, could someone from the Transportation Committee or Public Works speak to this maybe?
Well, this is one from the.
We'd like to get, one of our employees to do this. Chelsea is currently the only one licensed. He's working one of the other guys possibly to get them licensed up too. So we can do this way more cost effective than a private contractor.
All in favor? Be it resolved that administration be authorized to bid on a trailer and water tank to a maximum of $25,000 remaining in the budget, whereby if same cannot be purchased, the $25,000 be used to purchase chemical before the end of the year. Moved by Mr. Hatch, seconded, Councilor Fisher, discussion? Councilor.
we had part of discussion about this, the transportation meeting, but we talked about a trailer and just wondering, making sure we get the right kind of trailer and whatever we need. That's, we got a 1,000-gallon tank there now, maybe a car. Another truck might be an option. just a thought. I know that we have a big trailer, we need a highway tractor, but I don't know.
You get a fifth wheel with dual,
We have a fifth wheel trailer.
not with dual, with that, like two axles.
My thought is with that though, is we've got a fifth wheel trailer, but our sprayer's on our dual wheel truck that we pull a trailer with, so I was just wondering, since our conversation of heavy duty car hauler, that we could put that tank on or get another one, and then we could always use it to move mowers or something. That's all I thought. We'd have more trucks to use it on. I don't know, just a thought, rather than have one, we need a highway tractor.
Everything's up in the air because currently there's nothing available to find anyway.
But that's just an option. I thought.
All in favor? Be resolved that the contract with Blue Star Construction for gravel crushing be extended for 1 year, 2025, to supply approximately 15,000 yards of existing, at the existing price of $4.75 per yard, plus an anticipated CPI increase of 2%, whereby the municipality would retender in early 2026 for ongoing crushing. Moved by seconder. Mr. Hatch, discussion? Councilor Perry?
Would the transportation committee?
We felt they were still in the pit. We have used up all the gravel they crushed for us already. So we're getting them to do basically next year's supply and have a buffer so that we don't run into a situation like we did in the spring of this year.
And don't have to pay mobilization.
Right.
Where's the money coming for this?
This would come out of your 2025 budget. What Blue Star is saying they have been prepared to do for a few other clients in the area is they are prepared to do the crushing, keep the inventory in their stock until 2025, at which time we would then purchase based on council's interim budget and final budget in 2025.
Is okay with that? Councilor McGregor?
Mr. Chairman, my understanding is this is a pretty good price.
Very
Right, like,
Yeah.
if this goes tender, it's gonna go way
times two.
On 12,000 yards, it saves us 60,000.
Okay.
Is there an ability to do more than that, or?
Well, I think that what we talked about was 25,000 be available next year. So
Have to remember for budget purposes then. for next
that,
year.
and that's what we did this year for this budget. We doubled it. We did 24,000 for this year.
So we still have 10, or we would need another state action?
Well, we're just talking about extending the thing for next year, so if we extended it, then that, I think 12 was the yearly contract. Right, Joan?
That's correct. And in order to provide a little bit of a buffer, if 12 was used and 15 was arranged for, it gives us an extra little bit to get us started into 2026.
If council wants to go up higher, we can go up higher.
They're still there.
You're still there.
I just don't know.
Well, if
why.
the price was that good. And we're putting it to next year's
We can add
budget.
another 5 to it.
It's not like we're not gonna have in a budget, we're gonna have a line item in the budget.
What number would council like to put in there instead?
I feel like it's won't be a better time to do it economically for repairs.
Yeah, you know, $23,750 if you had.
Take it in
Leave it at 20,000.
20,000 yards.
So, who moved it?
Councillor McDonald and Councillor Hatch, would you be okay with that amendment?
Sure.
Anything further as far as amendments go? Second. Call for question, all in favor? Be it resolved that the 3 surplus fuel tanks be disposed of via local advertising for surplus equipment with reserve bids as indicated on the Schedule A attached to the Public Works and Transportation Service Committee report dated November 7, 2024, whereby if the reserve bid is not met, the tanks be sent to auction. By Councilor McDonald, seconder Councilor Hatch. Seconded. Okay. Discussion?
What are they, 3,000 or
No,
Two 1,000s and a 5.
they're all on the ground on skids?
they're on legs, not on stands,
Okay,
no skid.
But they have the pumps.
Yes, and.
With pumps?
Operation.
they 2 were diesel and 1 was gas or?
And the discussion was how to advertise them. Whether we put them on our municipal website, offer them locally first.
One is 500. That was
Yeah, two 1,000s and
Yeah.
5.
Is that how you're going to do it? You want to have that in the resolution? Be offered first to.
It says be disposed of via local advertising first. Committee's thought was to give ratepayers here the opportunity first before it would be sent out to auction.
I've already talked to 2 people that are interested, so.
Me too.
Okay, all in favor? Be it resolved that the continuation of truck rental be considered during budget deliberations. Moved by Councilor Collins, seconder. Discussion? Did you want to speak to that?
We've had this discussion for 5 years now. Whether we just a used truck or rent. Transportation committees had this discussion. We're currently paying $35,000 per season to lease a truck. And do we buy a truck for 70? We still have to do the upkeep on the truck. That's the question.
We'll talk after.
All in favor? Be it resolved that winter operations policy trans 009 be amended to delete the clause on snow fencing whereby snow ridging shall be the preferred method of snow entrapment. Moved by second Councilor Fisher. Discussion on it? Councilor McGregor?
Mr. Chairman, so are we saying we're going to do 0 snow fencing with this amendment, or we're saying that it will?
It's the preferred method. If we can't ridge for some reason, then I have to get all these ratepayers consenting writing. So if they're not okay with it, then we'll have to snow fence. Whatever helps us, right?
Yeah, just like ridging works with snow, right? So,
Well, and no fencing too,
yeah,
right? So, yeah.
that snow fencing will work earlier than.
Ridging works better.
Bridging works better once the snow is, at a certain depth, right? So,
Yeah, it has to be frozen. We don't even touch the ground when you bridge. You just touch the snow.
Usually about this much, 4 inches or something. It's,
Yeah.
I've had bridging on my land for years and it, Bethman Cemetery, they've never heard it.
yeah, no, I'm not arguing against bridging. All I'm saying is that I think there are certain stretches of road that are an issue every year where we should consider snow fence, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm not against the snow fence. If we can't do the ridging, then we'll do whatever it takes to alleviate
Should
the
the
drifts.
resolution be read accordingly then?
So with the policy, and I don't have a copy of it with
Right,
me,
you.
it lists the areas that are going to be snow fenced, which I believe was part of the issue with getting rid of the clause, so that those areas weren't specific. If I'm not mistaken, that was the way the committee was intending to go. So they didn't want to have to snow fence here if they found that they could ridge better.
Okay, but it's The way that resolution is just,
Yeah, it was going to get rid of the entire clause. So if council doesn't want to do that, then it would be to amend the clause on snow fencing to indicate that snow bridging will be done wherever applicable. And fencing will only be done on those locations where ridging cannot be successfully done. Or do you want to leave those numbers, leave those in there?
That would be mine. There's 6 locations that are listed. So
Yeah.
I would leave.
But it states in there that we can ridge over snow fence anyway, right?
right.
So
I really don't think this resolution is required.
And defeat the motion.
I think it's pretty well set down there. I mean, it doesn't say we have to do it.
Because it will be
Will
installed.
be
Yeah,
installed.
it says will be
But that's where it should be, then we should be looking at it. Change that wording to have snow fencing or ridging.
can we say, oh my God, can we just say it's up to my discretion where we do it? Because the boys know where the worst part.
Why did we have it in there in the first place? If that's my question. If that's going to solve the issues there from, day one of snow, should we not be doing it?
We're already doing additional mowing in certain areas to try to alleviate this problem already. So
I guess, are those roads not going to be an issue if you?
I think if you look at the last 5 years, how much snow fence has been put up in the last 5 years? Minimal. To none.
I think I put up 2 since I've been here.
But it should always be left as an option.
Yeah, we're not, if we have to, we will.
At Public Works discretion.
Why?
Well, it's in the policy. If you're going to change the policy, then go ahead. Just to take it outright like that, I'm not sure that that's reasonable. We could do some with it. If you leave it to discretion, that's fine.
I think that part of the problem previously was that a lot of ratepayers, the opinion was that a lot of ratepayers didn't want us to ridge on it. I think that's where that came from. Last year I had 56 people agree to it. Just by simply calling them, everyone was completely okay with it. So I think that's where we wanted to go back and say that the snow fencing, it's not that it should never be an option, but bridging should be our first priority. We can do more, it works better. I
Yeah,
think that's where
when I look at like road 455 Tower Road mailboxes.
Right.
And that's not land. I mean, that's something to protect those mailboxes so they
Right.
can get access to, right?
Right, that's different, right?
But I guess that's where we have snow fences.
But there is a field there that can also be,
Possibly,
Right.
but I guess what I'm saying is that people can get access to their mailboxes. That's going to be important. We put the snow fences up right away.
Yeah, and as this discussion was taking place, my concern is that if we've got a policy that states you shall install on these places 200 feet, then we need to be doing that. That's what the policy states. If the feeling was that that isn't required, then get it out of policy. But if what I'm hearing from council is that you want it to be an option, then we need to come back with different wording on how we would adjust the policy accordingly. Because as it stands right now, it says that those shall be done, and therefore they should be.
I think we need to change the wording.
Mr. Chairman, I would leave the wording in that. So that we're only talking about 6 spots, like those 6 spots were identified. Those spots.
Yeah. Did we do it last year?
no. In fact, we plowed over somebody else's snow fence. It's in our way.
That's not, okay.
No, I agree.
We failed to follow our policy.
States it should be done. then
can I just say that we did ridge those spots and it worked better. And which is exactly what the policy states. If we don't snow fence, we can ridge it. So it's not, we weren't in the wrong here.
Too late, Chelsea, and respectfully, you were in the wrong because he said that you'll put up snow fence in those 6 areas.
Does it not say that we can do ridging instead of snow fencing?
And before they preferred over snow fencing, but
clause above it
Clause above it,
specifically
very
states
specific.
where the snow fencing is
So
going to be.
maybe the wording should be different then, because that's kind of confusing.
okay, but is that for,
This is council's decision to make. If the discussions previously was that those were difficult roads and they wanted them snow fenced, then I would say defeat the motion that is on the table. If council wants an opportunity for us to go back and look at a way to reword it, then I would suggest you table it and let it come back.
tabling might be a good idea to come back with some further information on those roads.
Can I just put in, if we table it, the snow fence is not getting in this year? Because it's gonna be frozen.
The
So,
policy will exist, so it will.
It shows.
sure.
You have to put it in. And go for it, put them on.
And like I say, that I know that those roads have been identified previously. And if council's desire is they want it done regardless of whether or not we ridge everywhere else, then I would say leave the policy as is. But that is your call.
I'm not saying there can't still be pitching in those areas after the fact. Maybe that makes sense. But talking about 6 chunks of snow fence. I think they were included for a reason.
And they're identified as problematic roads, so
Maybe we all should take a look at them, right? Take a look at the areas where we're talking.
well, right now it's in policy that is done, has to be done.
Maybe I could just tell Mr. Chairman that highways does not do any,
No fencing anymore.
it's ridging. And they've had a wee better luck with ridging and most of the landowners prefer it. Come spring, it melts out, they're not still out there when they're in the field trying to get something melted out on something. That's, the highways does not around this area. I don't know, I can't speak for the whole province, but used to be miles and miles of it, now they ridging is taking that. They go and redo them all through the winter.
So we're going around in circles here, so we're going to either leave, the resolution is calling to remove that no fencing period.
So yeah, either defeat it or
Open question, all in favor? Opposed?
So thinking on that. Would like to see the wording changed.
Or another resolution if you wish, but that one's been defeated. 3-2.
what I saw. Okay, so that one is,
That's defeated. If you want to put something forward in response to that, then feel free.
I'd like to table it.
You tabling it, as you said, you're not going to get it this year.
I know.
No, that's no lie, because the policy still states, he just.
It has to go up.
Yeah, right.
If you table it, it has to go up.
Yeah.
tabling should have been done before the main motion was voted on. So now there is no motion on the floor.
Table. So now you have to come up with a new motion and then, or else we leave it. Yeah.
I would like to see the wording that rather than have to put them up at the public works discretion.
Two.
And there's times it might have to be in certain areas.
Okay, so what I had, Councillor McDonald, is be it resolved that the administration be directed to bring the policy back for discussion related to leaving the matter of snow fencing to the discussion of the public works manager. So I would have to work through it and see how that wording would work.
Okay, so if you wish to move that, we
I'll
have a
move it, yes.
seconder is Councillor Fisher. Any further discussion? Brendan?
Mr. Chairman, so I'm not okay with at the discretion of Public Works. But I am okay with sending this back to administration to come forward with. You know, maybe there's an amendment that we could be doing. Maybe that list of 6 is the wrong 6. Maybe it should be 8, maybe it should be 4. If there has been a landowner that is not okay with it on that list, then we need to address it. So,
Mr. Taylor?
well, I either am voting against this because I'm not okay with it being at the discretion of the Public Works Manager, or I'm putting forward an amending motion to remove the end. Just so if it said be it resolved that the administration be directed to bring policy back for discussion related to snow fencing, I would be okay with that, but I just know
And just bringing it back for discussion.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
and that will be part of the discussion I expect.
Mr. McDonald moved it. Councillor Fisher, you seconded. You're okay with that amendment? Okay. All in favor? Okay. Notice of motion. Anything there? Be resolved that this meeting does now adjourn. Meet again on December 17th, 2024 at 9 a.m. at the municipal office. By Councilor Brennan, seconded. Councilor Fisher, all in favor?